Hi, I'm Jamie Smart, and I'm the author of the #1 best-selling books, Clarity, Clear Mind, Better Performance, Bigger Results, and The Little Book of Clarity. And in this brief video, I'm going to share with you the unexpected key to creating the professional results you want, the kind of lifestyle you want, and the kind of experiences of life that you want. So in the process, I'm going to tell you a bit about myself, my story. I'm going to give you some examples and share some insights. And if you want to take it further, I'll show you how to do that too. So let's start with a bit about myself. I had a very successful career in the corporate world, and then I transitioned into building my own business as I got more in touch with the kind of work that I really wanted to do. And by 2008, I had a very successful company, but I wasn't feeling fulfilled on the inside. And so I read the amazing book, The 4-Hour Workweek, and I thought, this is the answer. I've got to structure my business so I can have mini retirements and time freedom and go and have adventures. So I did that, went for my first mini retirement, a 3-month ski holiday to Whistler in BC. So you got to understand at this point, I had, as far as I was concerned, the dream lifestyle. As far as my industry was concerned, this is what success looked like. So I had the bragging rights. I was on my mini retirement in my 40s. I was like, I got it all right. And I got there, and 6 weeks in, I had sore feet. I was depressed. I was distracted. I was not comfortable in my own skin. I was feeling off purpose. And I was like, oh no, this isn't it either. And it was bad because I'd been working hell for leather for years to get to the point where I had this. And what I didn't realize, the idea I had in my head was a great external lifestyle would lead to a great internal lifestyle. Great external professional results would lead to great internal results. But it turns out that was a fundamental misunderstanding. So I went back to the drawing board. And what I discovered shocked me. And so I'm going to share a couple of insights with you. The first insight is this. You're designed for success. You're designed to thrive. You've evolved over millions of years through countless, literally hundreds of thousands of iterations of human beings to do great in this world called reality. We're built to thrive. We're built to enjoy life, to create amazing results, to connect with people, to have fantastic relationships, to be creative, and to deliver high performances. In fact, this is one of the things we've really seen, when my book, Clarity, hit the book stands, people started buying it and they said it literally took stuff off their minds. And we saw amazing performances. Daniel Sturridge, the footballer, he even came into, he broke out of a streak of bad matches and then came into his post-game interview after putting in a hat trick against Fulham, carrying a copy of my book, because this is what we find is that when you get a better understanding, and this is the second insight, when you get a better insight into how your internals work, and by your internals, what I mean is your internal experience of life, then everything changes. Everything can become different. So this is what happened to me. I suddenly discovered that I'd built my life around a fundamental misunderstanding, the mistaken belief that getting the externals right would get the internals right. And it turns out it works exactly the other way around. You get the internals right. You get you get your understanding of life and how your perception works aligned with how it actually works. And all of a sudden, you discover it becomes easier to create the external results you want, to create the professional results you want, to create the lifestyle you want, to create the experience of life you want. When I'm running workshops, I'll do a kind of provocative question. I'll say, how many of you in here have ever been in amazing circumstances, like on a beautiful holiday or in an amazing location, or even on a date with an amazing person, but you weren't having a good internal experience of life. Everyone puts up their hand. Everyone's had that experience. And I said, how many of you have ever had a situation where you're in a actually not a great circumstance, your externals aren't great, but you're feeling good on the inside? Again, everyone puts up their hand. We know this intuitively, but we've been conditioned. It's not your fault. We've been conditioned by the media and by marketing and by well-meaning, parents, politicians, and priests, and by our own neurology into believing that our internal experience comes from our external circumstances. But actually, it's the other way around. And here's the amazing thing. What you're going to discover as you start to get more comfortable in your own skin, as you start to get a deeper understanding of the principles behind clarity, is that your relationships get richer, you become more creative and innovative, you tap into the keys to entrepreneurial action taking and motivation, and you really start to create the results on the outside from a place of a great internal lifestyle on the inside. And I'm delighted to say that one of the ways I love doing this is working with groups. It's one thing to hear an idea intellectually, but it's a completely different thing to have an embodied experience of it. And so in August, I'm coming back to Oslo for the third year in a row to run a very special workshop called Clarity for Professional and Personal Success. And in this workshop, we're really going to be focusing in on what are the keys to enjoying an amazing, a super high quality internal lifestyle that allows you to create a super high quality external lifestyle, whatever that looks like to you, whether that's business results, whether that's time freedom and travel, whether that's climbing the career ladder, whether that's starting your own business, whether it's working with others or doing heart-centered work. We're going to be looking straight at what are the keys to creating high quality internal lifestyle that translates into a high quality external lifestyle. And here's what you're going to discover on that workshop is that on the first day, we'll be getting to know each other and connecting with each other and that sort of thing. And, you'll see there's all kinds of different people in the room from different walks of life. And as we go through the morning, I'll be using stories and examples and exercises. And I don't know if you'll be the first one or you'll see someone else. Someone will go, oh, I get it. And then a little while later, someone else will go, oh, I get it. Maybe you'll see me coaching people at the front of the room, and people start going off, slowly at first, and then more and more. And then here's where it gets really cool. On the second day, when people come in, you find that all sorts of people have woken up to this overnight, because a lot of times it's the processing that happens in the background that wakes you up to it. And I use the term wakes you up to it because this isn't about intellectual understanding and some more good ideas to take away with you. This is about getting an embodied understanding of something. And so the other thing you can expect is that you'll get impacted during the workshop, but then the following week, you'll see it even more deeply. And then a month later, you'll be seeing it even more deeply than that, because this really is cumulative over time. So I really look forward to connecting with you again soon. If you like the sound of this workshop and it looks like something that can have an impact for you, I encourage you to read the page and hit the button below. And I wish you increasing clarity in your professional and personal success. Thanks.